Hey Internet, Bloodieknux here, aka the Gothic Gamer of LV1 Gaming, representing Akumu Matata with her video review of My Time at Sandrock. My Time at Sandrock is a follow-up to Pathea's first title in the My Time at series, My Time at Portia. She recently got the chance to sit down and play the game, as it is currently in early access, and she has some thoughts that she wants to share. Does the game improve upon what the first one was able to do? And with it being another daily life simulator, how does it hold up in the never ending landscape that has come out of the cultural phenomenon following Stardew Valley? Well, her review will break all that down here. Now, there will be some light spoilers for those who want to know about the story, but if you are interested in wanting to find out for yourself, you have been warned. Okay, so here we're going to read out her words as she left them here for us, and we're going to start off first with the story. So in her words here, the game starts off with a very simple setup here, as your character is actually a licensed builder coming from another town. Builders act as adventurers and explorers, as well as engineers to help repair and take care of cities. And you are on a train to arrive in the desert town of Sandrock, a former metropolis and one of the previous prosperous cities within the Alliance. Alongside another builder, Mian, you both arrive in the town to replace the retiring builder, Mason. After first arriving and approaching the Commerce Guild, you actually meet Mason as well as the president of the Commerce Guild, who helps run the requests for the town. Upon speaking with them, you're given your very first commission of making a pick hammer, a useful tool for builders in the desert for breaking down scrap as well as being able to mine rocks. After this, when you're making your pick hammer, you do get to meet with Anne, and you do find out a little bit more about the town. Turns out that Sandrock has not been as prosperous as it previously was, and that many within the Alliance are well aware of this. However, Mian and ourselves are willing to help make the town shine and be the former glorious city that it once was, especially since it sits on top of a metropolis of old world tech and scrap that has plenty of technology to offer for the survivors in the post-apocalypse here. Now, after the first few days after your arrival, you get introduced to many of the NPCs, as well as start by doing small commissions to get introduced to the world as well. Here, we actually learn a little bit more about how the system works and how the world is actually going to encompass. First, getting introduced to some of the dangers of the desert, such as sandstorms, even a small event such as getting to introduce ourselves to the town called a fireside chat. Along with that, we also help to participate in the retirement of Mason, as well as also getting to help with building up the town for their first cultural event, the Days of Memories, their version of Halloween. After this, the world really does build up because of the fact that while there is main quests in the game for you to build and work towards, it's not a requirement. Sure, you can absolutely speed through all the crafting for the main quest, but you don't have to. You're able to take it at your own pace. You're able to work towards the main story at any time you want, while also being able to really relax and just enjoy crafting and doing the commissions and really just exploring at your own pace. And it's this that I really love. It's a simple concept, but it's fun, it's relaxing, and it's chill, where you're just a builder working to try and get the town back up. Along with the fact that there's a lot of exploring, building, and RPG elements, it's kind of hard to not enjoy the fact that the story doesn't try to force itself down your throat, but allows these players to approach it at their own pace. Now for the visuals. My Time at Sandrock has a very bright aesthetic. And I mean that in the characters wear a lot of bright colors, and you can even dress yourself up in bright colors. The palette is very breathtaking, it's wonderful, and with the character models, they almost seem kind of doll-like, a little bit exaggerated features, but very nice contrast. And this really works to help kind of offset it due to the fact that you are in a desert town with that very desert-based backdrop, which means that there is a lot of brown and red and a lot of just very drab colors. So having the town, the characters, and everything else be very vibrant and colorful helps to make it as a wonderful offset for that kind of aesthetic. It helps to, from the oasis in the middle of the city where there's water, the bright green trees surrounding. Heck, even the town itself, a lot of the buildings are all bright colors, and very lit up to help to provide a wonderful contrast. And it doesn't just entail the characters in the town itself, even some of the monsters around have a nice, wonderful color that helps to offset their design. One of the favorites that I actually enjoyed was the rocket rooster, with how they're just roosters with fireworks strapped to them. When you take all the colors and mix them with the day-night cycle, watching the town light up at night, it's absolutely just wonderful to see. And it really does make the world feel a lot more vibrant and alive, and not necessarily having to be simply one color that makes it feel almost lifeless. Now, along with some of the now, while the visuals are very nice and I did enjoy them, there were some issues I noticed a lot at times as well. One of the ones that I did notice here is that occasionally when loading into a new area, it would take a while for some items to load in, especially when you start exploring certain areas, and some of this can cause issues with the fact that there may be an item or a piece of the environment that you're running into, but you can't necessarily see because it hasn't loaded in yet. As well as in there's some areas where you can actually see through buildings, though you may not be able to go into them. One of the ones that I noticed that this with the most is with the salvage company building near the ruins. If you actually look into the building from behind, from the ruins themselves, you can see clearly through the building, and it's empty and it just has sand inside, and you can see all the way through to the town, but you can't enter through the back door. But when you go through the front entrance, you're able to actually enter the small actual location where the inside of the building actually is. Now, this may just be a small visual glitch, but it is still something to be made aware of. Now, hopefully this is something that may be addressed in an upcoming patch when the game does launch fully into early access. But until then, just be aware that you may run into some occasional visual glitches or be able to see through some areas. Now for the audio. The audio in my time at Sandrock has a very lively feel, and that's partly because of the fact that it's due to the background music. There isn't any voice acting in the game at all. It's all very much based on the characters writing for their through text. And it doesn't necessarily need to have voice acting in the game to be well done. The character's writing is already well matched to each character's personality, so it helps to give it a lively feel. But what makes it really kind of settle is the fact that the background music has a very soft, mellow, almost Western style soundtrack. Not necessarily a country, not mind you, but something that really just kind of hammers home the fact that you are a town in the desert. And it really helps to bring out a lot of life to the city as well as to when you're exploring. Now, there are times when the music can get intense, especially when you're in a fight, such as with some of the monsters surrounding, such as the Geeglers, the Rocket Roosters, or even some of the wild yak mills when you need to get some of those monster parts. Along with that, the sound of combats actually sounds really nice from all the different weapons that you can use, such as the sword and shield, the spear, or my favorite, the daggers. The combat sounds really intense, and it really sounds fun and action-filled. Heck, even whenever you hear the buildings, whenever you're hearing the machines running around your house, such as your recycler or even the furnace going, it sounds like actual machinery is going. Plus, the sound of using your axe or pick hammer whenever you're going to collect materials does sound impactful in a very, very good way. Now, I did notice an occasional bug where sometimes the audio would cut out, or sometimes it would take a little bit to sync back up after loading into an area. And again, hopefully this gets patched when the game does fully launch into early access. There was a patch recently that went live during my time with the game. However, it did still seem to be an issue that was still showing up occasionally. Now, lastly is the gameplay. So first off, I have to absolutely say I do and love this game so much. However, it is not without its fault and bugs, but it's still in early access and a work in progress. But from what I played and got to enjoy, and it is absolutely super enjoyable. And a few of that starts here with just some of the options. And one of the first things is character creation. When you first start the game, you get to create your character, and it's actually more thorough than I was expecting, which is a good and bad thing, at least in my case. It's a good thing because there are plenty of options to choose from with the way that you can change individual body parts and be able to make all those changes, and even from the color that you're able to use for things like your hair, eyes, lips, even all your makeup. However, for me, it's a bit bad because I can be so picky about my characters. So when I have a lot of when I have a lot of options available, it can take me forever for my creation. Now, since the game focuses heavily on building, you also have a few options on what to do as well. First, when it comes to commissions, you have the main storyline commissions that you can work through, which are the requests here to progress the story. As well as you also have commission requests. The commission requests are the side jobs that you can do for people around town that allows you to earn money, experience, reputation, and more importantly, increase your relationship with that person. Now, you don't have to just rush through the story, though if you really want to, you can absolutely do that. But one of the draws for me was at least being able to talk to everyone in town. From doing the commission quest, there's also other ways to build relationships with the people in town. One of the ways that you are able to build your relationships is through the mini games and interactions. And one of my favorite ways to do that was through the Critters game. Critters is like rock, paper, scissors, except with animals. There are 4 animals to choose from. You have the elephant, fox, cat, and mouse. The game will teach you how to play, but here's a quick breakdown. Elephant beats both the fox and the cat. Fox beats the cat beats the mouse, and mouse beats the elephant. When I saw that, all I can remember were old school cartoons where when a mouse was let loose, the elephant screamed and either ran away or stood on something. Maybe that's why I love the Critters game so much. Sometimes you can even play with other types of mini games with the NPCs. I had a quest where Elsie, one of the girls in town, invited me, Ann, and myself to go hang out. We went to the arcade and got to play a game of whack-a-mole. It was a lot of fun, and you get to earn prizes from it. Another way you can increase your relationship was simply by talking to the person, or for those who like a challenge, you can actually spar with them in combat. Now, just like in my time at Portia and Stardew Valley, as well as other games, you can actually increase your relationship and make friendships, but you also can romance some characters, and this is noted if there is a heart on their profile. Those with stars can only be very good friends. Also, you're able to romance any character with a heart regardless of gender too, which is something I really do love a lot. Now, back to the building. Now, since the building is a big part of the game, you're slowly going to unlock bigger things to build and make. And this is where the circle of grind in this game kind of happens. You have to go out and collect materials and money from commissions to unlock new diagrams, to make new machines for your workshop, and newer machines offer newer materials to make for crafting. Like the furnace, being able to smelt some of the ores into bars or stone into bricks, and then you can take those into another machine, such as a processor, and then turn them into even more materials, such as nuts, bolts, bars, or even slabs. When you get these materials, you can either get these materials from breaking scrap down that you find around town, which there is a lot of, or if you had already gotten to the point where you built a lift for the workers, you can actually explore the ruins to find rare materials. Then you can use those to make higher grade versions of your arsenal, such as a stronger version of both your axe or your pick hammer, which will then allow you to break down even harder materials that you may not have been able to break previously, such as harder types of wood, harder types of scrap, or even more harder and rarer versions of stones to be able to get more higher grade materials. Now, I did have, when you first get that lift, you do get a pass that is given to you for free to be able to use the ruins as you see fit, but because I ran around doing everything else, I ran out of time and had to buy a new one. Now, I had to spend all my money, though to be fair, I didn't have much to begin with at the time, just so that way I could move the main quest along, as well as get back to being able to craft newer items. Now, something to note along with that is that you do have limited stamina per day. Of course, it refills when you sleep, but you can also regain some from eating food, but it can be pricey and it doesn't give you back as much previously. Also, make sure that you do pay attention to the time, because if you're out too late in the middle of the night, you'll pass out. So don't be like me and pass out. So also make sure you go to bed early, because if you go to bed too late, you won't get the bonuses for anything like experience, as will increase damage or be able to take advantage of some of those boosts to help you when you're out exploring. And also be aware that for your quests, you can miss them if you run out of time. So make sure that you do check on them often. Overall, I love the experience of my time at Sandrock. It was a fun game with a lot of fun characters and a lot of building. Now, while I did not get a chance to play the original My Time at Pathea, if it's anything like this, I definitely might go back and check it out. There's a lot to enjoy with mini-games, crafting, and simply enjoying the world. And because of that, I cannot help but want to play more. Even with the glitches I experience and the occasional freeze, if these get fixed in the game, it will have so much potential. So to everyone who checks out our review, thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you. Alright guys, there you go. Those are the words themselves directly from Akumu, and she does absolutely had some stunning things to say. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this quick little review and rundown of what to expect out of My Time at Sandrock. It does officially launch today in early access, so if you want to check it out, make sure you go and check it out. You can find the link to the game down below on Steam. But we do want to thank the team over at Pathea for letting us have a chance to check this out. So thank you so much for checking that out, guys. And if you want to see more content and other reviews that we've done here on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out what we also have going on here. But until next time, guys, we'll see you all in the next one. Later.